Right, welcome all. This is Matt with USA Crypto Group, and today I'll be hosting an AMA with the team from GemPad, a new launchpad designed to bring much-needed value, features, and security to both crypto projects and investors. As with all things crypto, this AMA is for research purposes and is not financial advice. It is everyone's responsibility to do their own research when making investment decisions. For any new investors here, we will start with an introduction by the project team with Q&A, followed by an open discussion for any listeners with questions. And then we'll wrap things up with a prize drawing. Today's prizes include two $25 cash drawings, and there will also be a $50 contribution from GemPad to our next upcoming community investment pool. Additionally, participants here in the VC will have the opportunity to win whitelist spots on an upcoming GemPad Diamond Tier launch. Without further delay, I'd like to introduce Morty from GemPad team. The floor is yours to introduce your team and tell us about GemPad.
Thanks, Matt. First of all, I want to thank you all for having me and thanks for listening. So my name is Morty. I'm one of the co-founders of GemPad. I'm also the marketer for GemPad, and I do all the AMAs and stuff as well. A lot of times when there's talking involved, I'm usually there because I like to talk. Anyway, moving on, we have a core team of 6. So I'm going to introduce the team first, and then we'll get on to the actual project itself. So we're a core team of 6. There's me. There's Rainlands, who's listening in. He is in charge of announcements, KYC. He also hosts the AMA in our group. So he has loads of responsibilities. And we have Minx, who's the graphic designer. We have Red, who is in charge of development. We have Bina and Niall, who are in charge of listings. And we recently hired 2 new people as well to help them out with listings because we just have so many. And like I think they were talking before about having somewhere between 70 and 100 groups altogether. Because the way we work is when we are going to go list the project on a higher tier, we set up a group with them and actually talk it through and see which tier we feel fits them best. So that is a lot more work on ourselves, but it's needed for the tiers, which I'll get into in a while. We also have a dev team of 4, and they work around the clock, just building basically and making sure the security of the platform is intact and everything like that. So moving on to GemPad. First and foremost, GemPad is a launchpad. We like to call ourselves the community's launchpad for a few different reasons. The main one being that we encourage criticism and feedbacks of all kinds. So whether this is a feature we've added that you don't like, that isn't working well, or maybe we can improve it, or maybe it's something that you've had an idea for a feature we can add. It can be literally anything. Maybe it's just something, a glitch that you're after noticing. We really, really encourage you to come tell us. We're never going to give out. We will always just be like, no problem. We actually have a list. We have a document so that when people say, oh, what would you think about doing this? And we always say, oh, yeah, we'll put it in the notes. And we literally have a document where we copy, paste the exact message and throw it in. And this way, when Red has time, he can go through it and see what kind of works. Now, we obviously can't build every single, excuse me, we can't build every single suggestion, but we will obviously look at them and see what fits the platform best. Now, there's other ways that we are the community's launchpad other than just listening to them. We also will eventually have a DAO voting system. Now, we were going to have this already, but we actually let the community vote on which order they wanted stuff brought out, and they voted for the thing that I'll touch on at the end. But once the DAO voting comes out, they will be able to vote to pause pre-sales. So if there's any kind of red flags, they can pause it so that we can have time to go and research it. They will also be able to pick stuff about the platform itself. And now that kind of stuff isn't set in stone, but they will be able to pick stuff about the coin itself. So stuff like changing the tax and everything. So we had a lot of requests to increase the sell tax after the kind of hype pre-sales. And so once the DAO comes out, the community can do it themselves. So if that's what they want, they'll do that. And this way, we're really putting that power back into the community's hand, because I really do say that you're only going to go as far as your community takes you. And by having them so much involved, and literally they feel like it's their launchpad, and it is. It's literally, they almost get to pick what way it works, and they get to build it alongside ourselves. They feel way more involved, and not only that, but who better to design it than people using it, because they're the ones that are going to use it day in, day out. Now, don't get us wrong, the team don't have any team tokens. We all bought it ourselves, the same as you. There's unfortunately no backdoors because we're too honest, so we miss pre-sales as well. But yeah, we use it as well. But obviously the community is the ones who use it most. So moving into a bit more detail about GemPad. Sorry, just a bit of a sore throat. But anyway, moving on. So GemPad is a project that has a launchpad that has tiers. So we have two types of tiers. We have holder tiers and we have project tiers. So I'll explain project tiers first. So we have 4 project tiers. We have common, gold, diamond, and platinum. So common and gold, they don't need to interact with the team whatsoever. They can just list and they don't ever have to talk to us. The only reason gold will have to talk to us is to get their KYC and their audit badge added. And obviously if they want to do the KYC with us, they obviously have to contact us for that. But other than that, there's no vetting done to them. They're purely degen plays, and for common tier, there's no KYC or an audit. And for gold tier, it's required to have one, and they can have both, but only one is required, as I said. So for those 2 tiers, please be extra careful and do your own research on them. Now, I advise you to do your own research on all the tiers, but the higher up tiers tend to be a bit safer. So moving on to platinum and diamond. Platinum and diamond are the tiers that actually have to go through us. So what happens is, if a project is going for either tier, they have to approach us and say that, look, I want to apply for diamond or platinum or whatever the case. We will set up a group with them. We will have them fill out a form that basically provides all the info we need to make a decision. If required, we might have a voice chat with them. At the start, we were having a voice chat with every single project. But as I said, it's just too much now, and it's just gotten to a case where we don't have time. So only if it's required will we have a voice chat. And for platinum and diamond, KYC and audit is required. For our KYC, while I'm talking about our KYC process, I will quickly explain it. What our KYC process is, because for diamond tier, it's required to be with us. For platinum and gold, we do accept third parties. So for diamond tier, for our KYC process, they take a selfie with their ID, then a close-up of their ID back and front. Then they go on to a Zoom call with Rainlands or myself. Sometimes I used to do them, and then Rainlands took over. Sometimes I help him out, but it's very odd time. It's usually himself. So go on to the Zoom call. They obviously have their camera on, state their full name, the role in the project, the name of the project, show their ID again. Then they have to show they have access to the deployer wallet. This is not always required. So sometimes there's well-known devs in the space that will be deving the project that they don't give out the deployer wallet. And we will accept that KYC without having the deployer wallet. But on the certificate, it will say that, say, Red is the dev, he is a well-known dev in the space or something. So the deployer wallet is not KYC'd. But they are known to be trusted as you can be in this space. So we make exceptions for them. We have also upgraded our diamond tier. When I say upgraded, I mean the requirements. So we've had a good few diamonds to date, and we haven't just sat and looked down and said, wow. We have actually gone ahead and looked at what they've done wrong and what, particularly the bad ones, what we should have noticed from them that meant they shouldn't have been diamond. And we've added those requirements to make it even more, or make it even harder to get into diamond, because we want diamond to be exclusive as possible. But at the end of the day, it is just the GemPad team more or less deciding. So still, please do your own research on all the plays. Just the diamonds and platinums tend to be a bit safer than the golds and the commons. But I really stress to do your own research still, no matter what the tier. Moving on to holder tiers, we have gold, platinum, and diamond. So there's 3 tiers. I'm going to touch on what you get with each tier nearly at the end. So moving on, we're going to talk about some features. So some of them small, some of them big, but we'll see what ones we get through. So the first one is special sales. So special sales came about when we originally launched. We had a good few projects wanting to do partial sales with us. And we obviously wanted to have them on board because it's all about providing as many opportunities to our community as possible. So we decided to make this special sales, but what you can also do is you can hold seed rounds and private sales through this. So that means that instead of having to worry about sending to a random wallet for a private sale or connecting to a random website that you don't really trust and then having to worry about are you going to get the airdrop, you can just do it through GemPad. You don't have to worry about airdrop because it's the same way you claim a pre-sale. You don't have to worry about connecting to some random wallet or some random website or anything like that. You just do it through GemPad. And we can even KYC and audit the person if they are willing to do that. Just please be very careful with these and only participate in the sales of devs and teams and projects that you trust, simply because there's no liquidity lock, so it is that much easier to rug. Now, obviously, with the KYC and audit, it should be a bit safer, but look, it's crypto. Even with KYC, some people still want to rug, so that's why it's a bit, you just have to be a bit extra careful with special sales. And sorry, I keep coughing, it's just my throat's very dry. Anyway, so moving on to the next feature, it's raising funds in any crypto. So this is actually improving in the next update. So at the moment, you can only do raising funds in any crypto in special sales, but we are moving it to be allowed to do in pre-sales. So what this means that instead of being able to raise just for BNB or just for BUSD, you can raise in any token. And that means the liquidity of your coin can be in any token. So if you want your liquidity to be Doge, it can be Doge. If you want to be Bitcoin, it can be Bitcoin. If you say have a play to earn token, and you do you're building an in-game currency, you could raise for the in-game currency in the play to earn token, and that means that the liquidity of the in-game currency would be the play to earn token, and they'd be properly connected and they'd actually support each other as well. Now, no one's actually done this yet, and I keep pushing it because I really want to see someone build it, because I think it could start a new meta and there's nothing else out there. There was a project that was talking about it, but I think they're still a good while away from actually coming out. But I really can't wait to see when someone does that, because it'll be the first time ever done. Now, moving on to a smaller feature, but still quite important and something we quite like. So it's our listing time. So anytime someone creates any kind of sale on GemPad, they won't be able to launch till 24 hours after this. This gives our community time to research the contract, for us to check it, and just so that there's no, sorry, lost for words, it's a bit late. So what I mean is, if you've been a part of other launches, I myself have seen them. Luckily, I've never been caught with them, but I have seen it happen, where on other launch pads, there'll be a really, really hype project, and someone will come along, a scammer, and will list a pre-sale with all the same details. Loads of people buying. It could be 500 BNB. I've seen 1,000 BNB. They launch, and that's everyone's money gone. That cannot happen at GemPad. Not only would it be a different tier, so you'd probably notice anyway, but in that 24 hours, we'll obviously cancel it, because once they fill it or once they list it and we realize it's a fake, we'll just cancel it straight away. So no one will ever be able to lose funds that way. As I said, it's a small feature, but I think it's quite important. So moving on to the next feature, we have My Alarms. So what My Alarms is on every single sale on GemPad, there is an alarms button, and you can click that button and you can set 30 minutes, 15 minutes, or 5 minutes. And whatever time you pick, so say if you pick 5 minutes, you'll get a push notification on your device. So it could be your phone, your laptop, or whatever device you're using. And you'll get a reminder basically that the pre-sale is happening. So you won't ever miss another pre-sale. Now, you can do it for the launch as well, but if they delay the launch, it can kind of mess it up, because even you'll see it says estimated time of launch. So that's not as foolproof, but we can't really do that because people delay when they want to delay. It's nothing we can really control. But the actual pre-sale, you can set a reminder so you won't forget. Also, beside the pre-sale button, you will see a whitelist button if that is available. This is just a handy shortcut to go find a whitelist for that particular project. We will also be adding a favorite button to the card, so you'll be able to favorite your pre-sales, so that you can go to your favorites and you can sort them out if there's one you're kind of keeping an eye on. Now, I spoke about different tiers previously, and as I said, we had gold, platinum, and diamond. So the benefits for gold tier, you will get, or basically all the tiers are equal to a whitelist spot for their same tiered projects. So that means that gold gets you whitelist for gold projects, platinum gets you whitelist for gold and platinum, and diamond gets you whitelist for gold, platinum, and diamond. Now, anyone above gold can also stake on GemPad. There's 131% APY. So you can stake. There's no penalties for withdrawing or anything like that. So we do encourage you to stake. Also, you do not need to stake to apply or to qualify for the particular tier to get the whitelist. It's not required. It also doesn't affect you if you stake. Just if you don't do half and half, because that kind of messes with it. Just do all of it staking or none of it staking, because then it doesn't recognize the tier properly. So just pick one. But anyway, so there'll be other benefits coming out, like the DAO voting. We will also have some third-party dApps. Now, we have some of them built already. They just need an update. It was also voted on by the community. One of them called Alpha, which is basically like a Rate My Influencer tool. Now, the thing about the dApps that we have, if we partner with a project or launch a project that is doing the exact same thing, we will not bring out the dApps, simply because there's no point putting all that energy into stuff if it's already out there. And most of them, particularly the Alpha dApp, is just about improving the space in general and improving it for our community. So if there's a competitive out there, we'd rather kind of help them make it better than try and compete with them and reinvent the wheel. Now, there is kind of one or two dApps that probably won't see the light of day, just because I know about a project we might be partnering or might be launching that's quite similar, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving on anyway, and actually before I get into, when I was talking about staking, before I go on to the next bit, we recently added the withdrawal button, the emergency withdrawal button. Now, originally we didn't want to add it because investors lose money through it. Obviously, with the 10%, we don't take it, but 10%, investor loses 10% if they use the withdrawal button. We were kind of hesitant to add it, simply because that means our community is literally losing money. Also for the fact that if it's a slow fill, it can kind of harm projects. So that's why we didn't really want to add it. However, we had a lot of requests from the community for it. So we said, okay, look, we'll add it. But what we did with it is the 10% doesn't go to us. It actually goes into a public buyback wallet, so everyone can go have a look if you want to keep an eye on it. In the public buyback wallet, once it reaches about 5 BNB, we tend to do a manual buyback. Eventually it will become automatic, but it's just manual for the minute till the kind of chart maybe goes up a bit and is a bit more stable. Once from the buyback, the tokens we get from the buyback are sent to the staking vault to kind of keep it sustainable. So that's why the APY is only 131%. It's not something insane, because we want it to be sustainable for the whole year. And then we'll have to relook at it and see where we go from there. Now, moving on to some new features we're bringing out, we are proud to introduce tiered whitelists. So from the few pre-sales we've had so far, we've had a few complaints. Some of the people who got whitelists for particular projects were a bit upset that our holders just got into the pre-sale without having to work for it. Also, we've had some of our holders and just whitelisted people that kind of felt that, particular holders kind of felt that they should have a more guaranteed entry, that they kept missing out. And look, we are never ever going to please everyone, but at GemPad we like to try it. So the way we've done this is we reached out to several different partners. We presented them with a list of options, and this is what they picked, more or less, along with obviously giving us some feedback and making kind of small tweaks. So basically the tiers will be split into two. So tier 1, which is also where our holders will be. So our holders are tier 1 as well. They will have 10 minutes to contribute. Project owner is only allowed whitelist 50% of the hard cap. So that means if there's 100 BNB hard cap and the max contribution is 1 BNB, the project owner is allowed whitelist 50 people. If the hard cap is still 100 BNB, but the max is 2, they're only able to whitelist 25 people. Now, after the 10 minutes, it then opens up to tier 2, and it also stays open for any tier 1 or holders that have missed their first chance. So they get a go. So that means that our holders have 2 chances to go in, along with tier 1. Now, tier 2 has 10 minutes to buy in, or it becomes public, and there's no limit on how many tier 2 whitelists project owner can have, but we will encourage and advise project owners to keep that at a minimum to make tier 2 still worthwhile, because when we were designing this, we wanted tier 1 and our holders to have a very good shot at getting in while still making tier 2 worthwhile, because we didn't want tier 2 to just be that, oh, I'll never make it to tier 2. There's only going to be like 3 BNB left of it. So that's why we've tried to design it this way. Now, we have no problem kind of tweaking this as we go. It's something we've released. We want to test out and see how it goes. And we'll just listen to the community, how they feel. If they feel it's good, we'll leave it. If they feel we can change it, we will, of course, change it however they want. And now this is only optional. So when a project owner is trying to list their project, they will have 3 options. They can do public, normal whitelist, and tiered whitelist. So this is only optional. It's not all our pre-sales will not have to use this, but we will try and encourage them to obviously do it better. Now, before I move on to the last slide, I want to talk about 1 or 2 more things that are coming out along with the update that we don't have slides for. So we recently started GemPad tutorials. So this is where we basically show tutorials on how to do anything related to GemPad and how to also do anything related to kind of BSC and trading. So what it is, the first one that came out already is just simply how to download MetaMask and how to install it and how to use it. We will also be doing the next one on how to buy gems on PancakeSwap, which is basically how to buy any token. We're just using gems because obviously we're going to use ourselves. But we'll be showing everything from PooCoin to everything else. And then we'll be doing a tour of GemPad as well to kind of show you about staking and everything like that. Now, we will also be bringing out a token creation portal. So this is on other launchpads. It's nothing new, but we will be trying to give as many options and different ways to build a token as possible. And this is useful for people who don't want to hire devs. They might want to do their coding themselves, as in save the coding for actual building the project, where they don't have to do the coin. But yeah, the token creation portal. Last time I was speaking to Red, he was saying there's about 30 different options, but that will, once it comes out, it'll be more set in stone. That's probably the not slow. Well, probably slowest probably isn't the word, but furthest behind in development of all the things we're bringing out. We will be charging 0.7 BNB as a flat fee across the board. This will also, all our tokens will include anti-bot. So we kind of had a look at different what different token creation portals offer, and we felt that this was a fair price with the anti-bot, and we felt that everyone was going to include anti-bot as well, so we might as well just leave it as included. We will of course see how it goes. If people feel the price is too high or maybe even it's too low, we will look at adjusting it. There's no problem there. But moving Anna as well, actually, sorry, I will mention they will obviously all be audited. So if you do it, you won't have to worry about auditing your token because it'll already be audited. Now, moving on to my favorite thing to come out is stealth launches. So you're probably wondering, how the hell are you going to do a stealth launch through a launchpad? Well, let me tell you. So the cards will look pretty similar. So they are going to be the same cards we use for all our sales. The major difference is that the contract address is going to be hidden till public trading starts. So the reason why we want to do stealth launches and why we think it'll be good is because we can provide that extra bit of safety. I myself have probably made more money on stealth launches than I have on pre-sales. Now, this is just a personal thing. It's just the way it felt for me. So I've always been a big fan of stealth launches. The biggest issue with stealth launches, though, is they're not the safest things in the world. And this is for a few different reasons. Number one, they can't lock liquidity at launch, so that means they can easily rug. They obviously can't KYC or an audit in advance because it's only being released. But here at GemPad, the project owners will be able to KYC and audit, so that means we can have that before it launches. The project owners will also have the option of a normal stealth launch or a stealth fair launch, and so the only difference is the stealth fair launch has no hard cap. Project owners will have the option to add liquidity themselves by just whitelisting themselves. They can let their friends do it by whitelisting them, or they can even open up to the public. It'll be totally up to them. And the liquidity will obviously be locked at launch, and it'll be locked for at least 1 month. So again, making it even safer for our community and the investors. Also, when trading starts, the contract address will be shown on the card to all users at the same time. This ensures that there's no fake or even late CAs, where people have let their friends and family buy in and then everyone buys in too late. So none of that can really happen at GemPad. Now, this has, as far as I know, has never been done. There's something else out there like that. So I cannot wait to see this happen. I do hope, and I think it could happen, where people will only want to do and buy into stealth launches through GemPad, and maybe if we have copycats along the way, which is obviously good for us in our community, but is good for the space as well, because everything we do, whether it's for pre-sale, stealth launches, everything we do, it's all about trying to provide a safer space for investors so that our community know that we will really put their safety as our number one priority. Because look, we're not going to be here if we don't have a community to use our launchpad, and that's why we value you so highly, and that's why we build everything how we do, is trying to make it as safe as possible. Now look, it is crypto. There will be probably scams that will slip through that we won't notice, but we do try our very best to block them all. And that moves me on to GemPad Court of Justice. So it's a new group that we recently created. Basically, if you have any scams that you notice, whether it's a project that launched with us, or they're in the middle of pre-sale, or they just listed, or they're talking about listing, and you're after noticing red flags, or they literally have scammed, and if it's obviously already after launching, you can go present all the evidence you have into the GemPad Court of Justice. We will go investigate it, and then we will, if it's a KYC, a launch project, we will go report it. If it's a pre-sale, we will cancel it, and we then write in a report of why we cancelled it. So even if you want to go in and check yourselves, you can see we have cancelled a few already. And also for a KYC process, we do not release KYCs publicly, even if a rug happens, simply for two reasons. Number one, there's a whole legal matter of it about releasing someone's public info, that we want basically to get legal advice on it first before we even think about doing it. But secondly, we kind of felt that some people, I won't mention names, when a rug happens, they release the KYC and that's it. And they kind of don't even worry about it, and the community will deal with it. They'll follow it up. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to just have a scam happen and not try and help and try and get people's money back and try and actually get justice for them. So what we do is we get the KYC, we then report it to the national police force of wherever the person KYC'd is from. We also report it to Interpol, and then we'll try follow it up and hopefully get that person actually in trouble, and then hopefully get the money back would obviously be the number one goal. But even as a deterrent for future people to know that we will report them. It's not a case where they'll be forgotten about. We will report them, we will chase it down, and hopefully something good will come of it. But that's basically all I have. I'm sure I'll think of a few things during the questions. I know I have on previous AMAs, so I probably will. But thank you for listening to me. So if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Awesome. That was a very amazing, comprehensive presentation. Covered pretty much every point I wanted to discuss, but I would definitely like to expand upon certain items.
Yeah.
The first thing I was going to expand upon, the mention in your whitelist of the 3% of transactions going to gold and higher staked holders. You might have already said it, but is that 3% coming from a combination of Launchpad revenue and the taxation of buys and sells, or is it one or the other?
So do you mean there's 6% of every transaction goes to the staking vault? The way it works is, so there's 10% on tax on the coin for every transaction. 6% is staking, 3% is production, and 1% is liquidity. When it comes to the kind of listing fees and so our fees, and actually I didn't even mention it, one of our biggest selling points is that we don't take any tokens. So our fees for doing a pre-sale are 2% of the raise and 1 BNB for listing. For gold, platinum, and diamond, common tier is half a BNB. That money basically goes into production. So that means kind of marketing and development, and then paying the team. As I said, we don't have any team tokens because we didn't want to take them, because it's just going to mean we'd have to, well, not have to, but if we wanted to kind of make any money from it, we'd have to dump it. So we're trying to do it a different way, in a way that doesn't affect the coin and doesn't affect the community. But basically most of the fees kind of goes back into marketing and development. We had a lot of people ask about the buybacks. So that's why we did the emergency withdrawal as a buyback, so that we also have buybacks included as well.
Okay, yeah, I saw 3% mentioned on the whitelist. I do understand the 6% of the tax. I just didn't know if there was also a portion of Launchpad revenue from fees collected from projects that also supported the staking.
No, it doesn't. I might actually get you to point that out to me, just so I can go check it and see. But no, it doesn't. It's just the 6%, and it is doing pretty well at the moment. If it got to the stage where it wasn't sustainable, we could look at doing something like that. But for the moment, it seems to be doing quite well.
Got it. Yeah, and it is good that you have a flexible rate where you're not over rewarding and hurting the project, but you're also not under rewarding, and you're making sure that your holders are taken care of. So definitely do like that. One thing I wanted to mention is you use the word in your white paper, auto staking. What it essentially does, if you're a holder of GemPad, you don't have to pay a gas fee to harvest your rewards and then pay another gas fee to stake it. All your rewards are automatically going in, so you're constantly earning rewards on your principal and rewards on your rewards. So that's one really awesome feature that I saw about being gold. And as you did state, you could purchase in at a lower tier like gold or platinum, and then eventually, just by holding, naturally become the next tier up. So that's really cool that you can do it by just setting it and then leaving it. You don't have to worry about constantly putting in gas fees to increase your holding tier.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You see, we were big believers in not having a huge barrier for entry. We didn't want to be a launchpad where only whales could kind of buy in. So that's why we had staking the way it is. We also wanted to make it so that you didn't have to hold gems to be able to use our launchpad. So that meant we'd have a wider audience. Now, obviously, we want to look after our holders and provide as many opportunities as we can for them, but we want to be a launchpad for everyone. That's why, as well, why it's designed how it is. That as we feel it's easy to use while still having all the features. That means that if it's your first pre-sale, it's going to be good, or if it's your 1,000th pre-sale, you're still going to like it.
Awesome. And one thing that I read in the white paper, maybe I misunderstood it, was that platinum and above are part of the DAO, and they're the ones that are allowed to vote down projects. But it kind of sounded like in the court of justice that anybody could join that group, or do you kind of vet people before they could join to make sure they're platinum and above? It's where they have the power to downvote projects that seem suspicious.
No, so first of all, anyone can join the court of justice. They don't even need to be a holder. If they see any red flags or anything suspicious, we encourage them to join and to go tell us so we can investigate it. What the DAO voting is that, now, as I said, it's not out yet. It will be something we're bringing out. But they vote.
Got it. Okay, so I kind of mixed the two together.
Right.
Got it.
It's okay. But yeah, the DAO voting will be platinum plus once we bring it out, and they'll be able to vote to pause pre-sales. We had originally had it where they could cancel pre-sales, but simply it was actually a community member said that if a bunch of whales don't like a dev, they'll just keep canceling their pre-sale.
Cool. And then one thing you mentioned on one of your slides was the alternate token fundraising. I'm not sure how many people caught that, but that is a really awesome feature. Like, let's say we have a successful token, fill in the blank name, and then they want to launch another module that supports it for their own internal ecosystem. A project can actually add legitimacy to their parent token by launching a utility or another module token that requires people to buy the parent token in order to get in on the pre-sale for the next token, whether it's a utility, whether it's a baby or whatever. So for any projects listening, if you want to have a project that is ongoing and has, recurring utility, you can actually create your own utility on the GemPad Launchpad. And then as an investor, if I invest in a successful token, then it would be pretty sweet if that project that I really am tied to, I'm already invested in, now I could use my investment to take it to the next stage of their development. So I thought that was a really cool feature, and I too look forward to seeing the first project that takes up that function from you guys.
Oh man, I'm actually so excited for it. Like I've literally every AMA I've done since it came out, I bring it up to try and convince someone to do it, because I think, as you said itself, it could be huge if done right.
Exactly. And having said that, one project that did some bad activity used a baby token recently to kind of get one over on investors. But having said that, one of the other features you mentioned was controlling the launch, and you mentioned it from a different standpoint. One thing I liked about it is that projects can't stealth launch without the community knowing behind their back. You got that 24-hour period. In this case, a project launched a baby token, and then they decided that they were going to establish liquidity a few hours before the scheduled time while everybody was sleeping, and then dump everything on the project and take pretty much all the liquidity. So that's a really cool safety feature where we can actually take a breather and know that the platform itself is going to protect us from anything outside the constraints of what's been promised to us from the project.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing for us is safety. Is that, look, we will try and provide obviously the best plays as possible, but the main thing is safety. Is that trying to provide as safe a space as we can.
Exactly. Yeah. So I definitely like it. It's not just using the buzzword of community, but you're definitely looking out for your investors, and then you're giving projects a community that they can invest with. And I mean, I would see a lot longer term investors in the future to come with GemPad with all the different projects you have coming out. And then moving on to the alarms, I tested it out, but I think I used your platform wrong. You could go to alarms or notifications from like the main gempad.app page, but I didn't think to actually click on the project and set up an alarm. So if I go on the main page, it basically takes me to an announcement channel, right? But if I
So,
want to have the alarm set up for an individual project, I click on that project's link, and then that's where I set it up.
so if you go on to GemPad and you see the do you know what I mean when I say pre-sale card? The card itself is like when you see all the pre-sales. So when we say card, it's the kind of the brief things that is written where it says like the hard cap and stuff like that. On that, there's the little alarm. If you click that, it will then, that's how you set it up. And then you'll be able to go hit my alarms, and all the ones you have alarms set should be there. Now, the only thing is with the alarms, last time I spoke to Ray, he might be fixing them in the update. We were attacked. We had a cyber attack. It was record breaking, the biggest in history. And then the day after, we had 10 times bigger, and we had to add in protection for that. And that protection, Red was saying, kind of messed with the alarms. So if the alarms kind of mess up on you, that's why, but hopefully they should be fixed in the next update. And I'd have to go and speak to him though, just because last time I was speaking to him, he said this was what was going on, but he might have fixed it by now. But
Got it. Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't try the appropriate path yet. I actually went to another link, which took me more to like an announcement page. So I
Okay.
just wanted to clarify to anybody listening, make sure that you do click on the card or the listing, whatever you want to call it. And then the alarms should be able to be set up from there. I haven't tested it, but that is a really, really cool feature. I mean, we were talking about before this AMA how I missed one of your platinum launches that I intended to buy. So definitely going to take advantage of that. And then one thing I noticed on your white paper, you had the alpha influencer rating. So is that something projected for the future, or is that something you have going on right now where you rate different influencers, and then it sounded like in rating the influencers, you pass them on to your projects so that they know who's going to give them the best return of investment instead of just having like a botted channel where a handful of people are paying attention, you might have a smaller group where you have a lot of real investors.
So what you're almost right. So what Alpha Club is it's a rate my influencer DApp. So what it will become when it's out is our holders will be able to comment and comment and rate on their favorite call channels, AMA groups, audit companies, devs, anything like that. Twitter, YouTube, Discord, everything. You will be even marketing agencies. So you'll be able to comment and rate them so that the best ones should be at the top and the worst ones should be at the bottom. Now, this is actually the screenshots you see are of it live. It is actually live. It's not out because it needs an update. But that's one of the dApps now. We will get to it eventually unless someone brings out something similar that we partner with. But that is what you see is actually already built. So those are not like mock-ups. They're literally screenshots of a live app. It's actually the oldest part of GemPad. I came up with the idea a little over a year ago. And that what you see is probably live for 9 or 10 months. It was originally going to be its own dApp, its own project, but we felt that it wasn't big enough to be its own entire project. So we made it a part of the Launchpad because we felt it would be a really, really good dApp, but maybe just kind of as a supporting dApp. But that's kind of my baby, and that's something that I cannot wait for it to come out if it does come out, because I think it's really needed in the space. Because not only will it kind of show which ones are botted, but it will kind of show the ones that are good, and it will kind of for the like yourself, like if you have a kind of smaller channel that maybe isn't as popular as it should be. Say if it's a call channel, it makes great calls and it just doesn't get the recognition. It should through alpha because people will be able to rate it as high as possible and leave great comments for it, and that will make it go higher on the board and more people will see it. So that means that if you're new to crypto, you'll see the best channels to follow, the best AMA groups to listen into. If you're a project owner, you can see the best audit company, or even if you're looking for an AMA group, you can find the best AMA groups or the best call channels to promote your project. And that's something that I'm really excited for. But as I said, that mightn't see the light of day simply because if we partner with a project that's already doing it, we don't really want to go against them because it's a dApp that's really just going to improve the space. So as long as someone's improving the space, we don't mind if it's us or them.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, as GemPad gains traction as a more predominant launchpad that people want to use, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're actually making the space better. You're going to put the heat on people who aren't delivering tangible results as a rating system comes out. So that's really cool. The other thing I noticed, you had a Chinese community already. Do you have bilingual mods that you communicate with to get the word out to people in that major demographic, or is that something that is like a translation software that your other mods that we interact with in the English chats use?
No, so we have. I honestly don't know how much English mods we have, but we have a Chinese marketer who arranged the mods for us. They are bilingual, so they translate all the announcements from English to Chinese, and then they look after the group for us. We've marketed a good bit in the Chinese market. For instance, we're partnered with CN Token, which is one of the bigger websites in China. So that means that we not only are we listed out as one of their partners, but also all of our platinum and diamond projects get listed on there. So it's that kind of free advertising for all the platinum and diamond projects that they get a kind of people in China can actually see them and get just for simply being one of our projects. We can, of course, as well. That particular marker has some some of our projects want to get their own Chinese marketing set up, so we have no issue connecting him to them. We've connected him a few times because he is very good. He set everything up for us, and he handles the mods, and then he talks to us. Like if we have anything we want to talk to the mods about, or if they have anything they need to ask us, they just ask through him. So he's really brilliant. We're very lucky to have him. But yeah, and the mod's very good as well.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's definitely good to see legitimate outreach to other communities. I've heard that the Chinese community in particular likes the personal interaction and not so much, people talking to them through synthesizers that have kind of correct, phrasing and whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, no, we're very lucky to have him. We're actually, and to be honest, all our mods, the English mods as well, are very good. That even to the sense that we're happy enough to kind of leave them in charge of the chat, and then if there's anything they don't know, or sometimes we just get tagged where people want to speak to the team, but for the most part, the mods are great for both the Chinese and the English. We want to eventually expand into other markets. We just simply haven't got around to it yet, just because there's so much other things going on. As well, I forgot to mention as well, GemPad supports just what I think of it. I told you I'd forget stuff, because there's just so much to go through. But GemPad supports BSC, obviously, and that's where the token is. But we also support Polygon, Telos, and Kronos launches. We are partnered with Polygon and with Telos, which is quite good. We also support Ethereum launches, but if you go onto the website, you won't see Ethereum. The reason why you won't see it is because it needs updates. We didn't bother pushing through the updates for Ethereum till we got a presale, because we haven't got one yet, and because simply presales aren't as used on Ethereum as they are on BSC. So we didn't really want to push through it yet, just to waste the money. But if we get an Ethereum project, it'll take a day or two to push through the updates. So if one comes to us, we do support it. We just don't have the option there right this second. Also for the stealth launches, they will be BSC first, and then within a few days they will then be Ethereum.
Awesome. And then one other thing I wanted to touch back on, you talked about the tiers and whitelists. So being a GemPad holder is first and foremost the best way to go if you want the most premium access. Even if you're winning a whitelist off a sweep widget from a project, if you have the GemPad tokens held in the appropriate tier, then you get the tier 1 out of the 2-tier whitelist system. Is that correct?
Yeah, so if you get whitelisted, so project owners will be able to whitelist tier 1 or tier 2. They'll have the options for how much they want to get out of either. Our holders will be tier 1, and then if they miss out on tier 1, they get a second chance at tier 2. So they have twice as many chances as tier 2. That's just important for us because we really do want to look after our holders. And as I said, we don't want it to be where you have to hold gems to buy in, but we want there to be good reason to buy gems and to hold gems.
And speaking of that, wanting to buy and hold gems, as a diamond tier holder, I've already bought into the highest tier. And so I'm just accumulating more and more tokens. I think out of the last maybe week and a half, 2 weeks, I've gotten maybe 5,000-6,000 tokens accumulated. in order to incentivize me to continue to hold, does GemPad have any consideration of maybe once you reach diamond tier status to transitioning to something that they wouldn't have to sell GemPad, like maybe a stable coin, or maybe giving me the option to trickle my rewards accrued into another wallet so I could start building a second whitelist wallet?
Well, so if someone came around and they'd staked enough to get, and they'd have 2 diamonds, we would have no issue stopping the transfer transaction tax, to allow them to transfer to another wallet, where they won't lose 10%. They'd just be able to transfer it. And no, we wouldn't do it like every day. It'd just be, look, once you save up enough for another wallet, let us know, and then we'll do it. Because we have done it. We have no issue doing it, because look, the only reason that we have a tax on transfers is so that people can't transfer around and have diamond whitelist and on multiple wallets by transferring it. So we have no problem pausing it if someone wants to do something like that. We've had another person where they had the gems on a wallet that they weren't really using anymore and they wanted to move them. And we said, yep, just give us a minute. We'll pause the tax on the transfer transactions. And we did that. They transferred and there's no issues. So yeah, we have no issues doing something like that. I will tell you, we had people ask that if gems get bigger and maybe there's too many holders in the tiers, we may look at adding another tier or something along those lines. But nothing like that is set in stone.
Awesome. Okay. And yeah, I will speak. I was personally one of your investors that had a request to move because I wanted to move over to MetaMask from my Trust wallet. And so I was easily whitelisted, made the transfer, and then got in there. So I did like the awesome customer service, staying in contact with the team and enabling me to do it for a reason that wasn't trying to abuse the project, but just, good customer service. So that was a really good experience. And yeah, I didn't even think of it, but yeah, just contact the team once you have an overflow enough to get a gold wallet and then, restart your staking in another one. That's a really good benefit and incentive. And now that people are hearing it right here, now you have something to look forward to other than just accruing beyond a diamond tier. You can actually start populating other wallets without having to worry about that 10% transfer tax as long as you contact the appropriate person on the GemPad team. So that's really cool.
Yeah, like even any of the mods, just let them know and we'll arrange it. There's no issues, because to be honest with you, I will be doing that myself.
Cool. And yeah, one thing I've said in your chat, and this isn't financial advice, this is just my own personal experience, is I didn't buy GemPad to make money on GemPad. I bought GemPad for the benefits. So definitely, if I could start compounding those benefits as my rewards compound, then all the better. I think that's a really good strategy. So I guess you're already on top of it. My suggestion is kind of already taken care of.
Oh yeah.
That's about all I had as far as questions on the project. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to anybody else who has questions about it. Go ahead and ask your questions to Morty while he's here. And I know it's kind of tough because we pretty much covered every corner of this project.
Yeah,
I was gonna. I'm sorry, but I was gonna butt in and say, yeah. I mean, like all of my questions have been straight up eliminated. That was an amazing presentation from, Matt and also you, Morty. Wow.
Hey, yeah, thanks.
More,
I like to talk a lot. So.
Yeah, it was very comprehensive explanation on everything. I had like 3 questions, and I think they all answered already. So, no questions for me.
That's always good to hear. Yeah, no, I always I like to be as thorough as I can. So, Amos, did you have a question?
Yeah, you say GemPad is based on listing tokens. So when I went through the website, I was seeing different segments where project owners can list tokens. I was saying something like the gold side, platinum, and all the rest. So there are many sites where members or project owners can list tokens. So can you please just tell me like the special attributes you have concerning this site that will make us want to list our token there, and if they are you know if it's well known in the crypto space.
So basically, you're asking me, what do we have over our competitors?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So first and foremost, one of our biggest selling points is that we don't take any tokens. So that's a big thing for us, because if we take tokens, the only use we have for them is selling them, and that's literally just dumping on not only a project we launch, but also our community. So we won't ever take tokens. Our fees in general are quite low. So we take 2% of the raise, and we take 1 BNB for listing. We are also running a free KYC and free audit. We ran it last month and we ran it this month. We're going to have a conversation about next month. I won't say what we're thinking, but we're thinking of running another
Yeah, I understand, man.
basically. But then there's loads of other reasons. So whether it's the alarms, it's the listing time, or even just the support. So if you're launching a project with us, we are literally only a message away. So whether it's, if you have a group with us, we can advise you to do anything in there. If you have any issues, Red will be there. Just message him, and as long as he's not asleep, he will get to you and he'll help you out. So whether it's you're stuck or you don't know how to do something, you simply just need advice, we're there for you. We're never going to give out. We're always happy to help. But yeah, there's loads of different reasons why you'd pick GemPad over the competitors. I could probably sit here all day and talk to you about them, but yeah, they're the main ones anyway.
Yeah, that sounds
All right.
so
I have
interesting
a
for me.
question from Emma.
Perfect.
She wrote, the phenomenon and vision behind GemPad brings about proper transparency and accountability to the crypto space. In view of that, I am concerned about the GemPad Agents. Are they core members of the team? How do anonymous projects avoid fake user approach from an agent? Must all project referral be from an agent? And finally, will a project owner have to pay extra fee to agents based on their different tier when introduced to GemPad?
So first and foremost, please never pay any of us, not even me. So if it's me going up to you saying, here, give me a BNB, I'll list you, don't give it to me. The only way you'll have to pay is through listing. Now, if you're going for an AMA, or when we eventually do start charging for KYCs, but at the moment we do charge golds. So platinum and diamond get a free AMA. Golds, they have to pay 1 BNB. That is the only time that we will kind of charge you. And then it will only be myself, Coffee Beana, Niall, Rainlands, or Red. So if it's going to be one of those 5, and don't be afraid to come in and double check in the chat. We're never going to give out to you, because look, you can never be too careful. So don't be afraid to double check. The agents, what they what the agents do is, their job is to go and make contact with the teams and basically be like, have you thought about listing on GemPad? And here are the reasons why you should list on GemPad. Then they will get you in contact with one of us. So it's going to be Niall or Coffee Beana. And there'll also be, as I said, the 2 new members. I kind of actually just forgot to include them. That's Dennis and Towie. So you can contact the agent will get you in contact with any of them, and then we'll set up a group and help you get listed. No agent should ever take any funds for anything. Their payment for the referral comes from the raise. So our referral program, if it's okay with the lads, I can forward it to the chat after the AMA. Our referral program starts off the first project, you get 0.5% of the raise. So we take 2%, so you get a quarter of that. So if there's 100 BNB raised, you get half a BNB as your referral reward. Yeah, that's right. I was just making sure that was right in my head. Yeah, so you get half a BNB. That then increases for every project you get. But I will. Oh, Raynan's forwarded it for me. Okay, perfect.
Oh, yeah, you guys
So
got it
so
there.
that's how the referral. Perfect. So that's how the referral bonus works. Now that will be, you do not have to pay the agent for that. We handle all that. So please never pay an agent. There's no reason to. We will never ask them to do it. So if you have one that's asking, please send us their username, because we will have to find out if they're actually an agent first of all, and if they're not, if they are an agent, then we'll probably have to kick them. Now, that referral program is as well open to anyone. So anyone listening, if you have a project of, maybe it's a friend's project, maybe it's just a project you're looking at, if you refer them, you will get that too.
Sounds pretty awesome.
Guys. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Matt, for answering asking the first question for me. I really appreciate that. I was kind of really shy talking about it. Then, secondly, I want to say sorry to Mr. Motte for the whole cough during the session.
What are you apologizing for me? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. What did you say?
I've not asked my question yet. I'm just saying sorry for the cough. So true.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I've had a very dry throat, and it's always my luck that I'd have because I have so many AMAs this week, but I just have to power through because I can't cancel them. But it's okay. It's not too bad. It's not sore. I just have to cough every so often. So sorry for all the listeners.
Okay, no problem. So my question here basically is on GemPads Platinum and Monetize. I learned that there are multitudes of benefits for projects that subscribe to any of these tiers, which include pre and post launch support. However, I believe that there are perhaps some limits to the level of support that GemPad can offer to such projects. So can you give me some specific details as to what this support entails? Perhaps some boundaries that this support ideally wants to go beyond.
Yeah, of course. So first and foremost, the kind of support we provide is if a project comes to us, they need devs, we can set them up with them. If they need marketers, we can set them up with it. If it's, say, for a particular type, say Chinese marketing, we can set them up. If they need connections to any call channels, we can get them connected. Any AMA channels, we can get them connected. If it's just purely advice, if they're thinking should the max contribution be 2 or 3 BNB, we can support them that way. Even if it's the hard cap, we often try and have to get people to lower the hard cap, because a lot of them are going for hard caps that worked maybe a few months ago, but they don't work now. But the kind of limitations are, if a project is going for diamond, we feel we shouldn't have to help as much for a project that's going for platinum, simply because a project that's going for diamond should be experienced enough to barely need us. Now, of course, maybe they just need us. Maybe they can't decide and they need advice on the hard cap, or maybe their normal dev isn't there. Something like that is fair enough. But if we're having to hold their hand the whole way through, we'll have to say, look, we have no problem helping you, but you're not going to be able to be diamond, which is fair enough. Like, diamonds should be experienced enough that they know what they're doing. Now, as well, when it comes to post-launch, we will help them and we will stay in touch, but there's only so much we can do. Eventually, they are on their own. We can't hold their hand forever, but we still are in touch for anything they need. Our very first launch was Aptitude. It's a diamond project. to this day, we still contact them every so often. I believe it was only a few days ago Nile was in contact with their owner. So we do keep in contact with all our launches. And they can just message us in those chats to kind of reach out to us if they need a hand or anything like that, or advice on that, or maybe they need a connection after launch. There's no issues there.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your question, man.
I'm back again. Sorry.
Hey, Amos, how's it going, man?
I'm cool, man. So I was just going through the website. So I want to ask, like, what's the reward? The reward in holding the token, will it be in BNB or in supply?
So, do you mean for the staking? For the staking, you just earn more gems.
Yeah, for the staking, man.
Yeah, gems. So you just get rewarded in gems.
Okay, man.
All right.
Sorry, I forgot to add in a question.
Yeah, what's your question, man?
Okay, so basically, when you're talking about the project, you laid emphasis on being a community-driven launchpad. Okay, so basically, I'm wondering, when community get to decide on a particular idea or feature on GemPad and it's conflicting, how will it be decided? Like, will it be based on amount of acquired gem tokens or something like that?
Okay, so at the moment, if we are holding votes, we'll just hold. If we're picking before the DAO comes out, we will just hold a poll in the Telegram, and everyone will get the vote. That's what we did for the previous one. When the DAO comes out, now this isn't set in stone, but as far as I know, this is what we're going with. And basically, the way it will work is that every holder will have one vote. So as long as you're platinum and above, you'll have a vote, and they'll get to decide on what happens. So it will be no matter how much you own, you'll still have that one vote. Now that's, as I said, it's not set in stone. So if this is not exactly how we do it, don't come back at me. But this is what we're thinking at the moment.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thanks for your question, man.
So you guys about to break out a partnership announcement, or did Roger accidentally hit the video button?
I didn't even see it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I see we got him on screen share.
So, okay, I can't see it.
Yeah. Speaking of partnerships, part of this AMA is to announce that USA Crypto is going to be partnered with GemPad. And so as part of a community effort, we will be getting more whitelist opportunities for members of USA Crypto for GemPad. So definitely stay tuned to our future posts whenever you see things come up, whether it's a banner or whether it's a GemPad AMA. And also just as a community, if this is something that you can see yourself getting behind, GemPad is obviously a community-driven project, and the tools are being thrown out there for all of us to, possibly join in if it seems like an investment for you, and then become a part of what they have. But it definitely takes a community to use these tools. They can give us everything that there is, whether it's the vetting, whether it's the unique methods of launching that haven't been presented before, whether it's the stealth launch, the utility token liquidity launch. If that made your head spin, just wait till it happens and you'll see what I'm talking about. And whether it's timing a launch, all the different things, the tiers. So I definitely look forward to what we have coming with GemPad. The whitelist we're going to have, actually, the project is not Warmies. What is the project that you gave us whitelist positions for?
Raynans, are you here to answer that? Because I'm not I'm not too sure which ones you gave them for.
Homie Wars, right?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't see, the thing is I don't deal with projects too much unless they need marketing help. Let me tag Rainlands real quick because I see him there.
Okay, yeah. I just was kind of stressed out that I missed your Warmies launch, and so yeah, it was Homie Wars.
It was
We're
okay.
even had the opportunity to make that potentially the community pool, and then moving forward, we could potentially use whitelists for community pools depending on how we can negotiate with projects. So definitely looking forward to that. Whether it's giving individual people more opportunities and then what they could have in case they miss, a shill competition or a sweep widget or whatever, because nothing's guaranteed, but it's always nice whenever the odds are in your favor and you have more opportunities. That being said, is there any final pitch or summary that you'd like to make on the project?
Well, basically, I want to say, look, if you ever have any questions for us, just pop into the chat and ask us. We're always there. There's at least always a mod there, and they'll bring us the question if we're not there. Don't be afraid to even tag me if you particularly want me or any of us. We're only a tag away. But I especially want, if you have any projects, so whether it's your own project, I want you to consider GemPad. Even just come and chat to us. There's no pressure to list. We're not going to bite. We just talk it out and advise you. And look, even if you don't launch with us, we'll still wish you good luck and hope it works out. Also, maybe if you're, as I said, if you have a friend launching a project, or maybe a project that you're just really fond of, why not try and suggest GemPad to them? Not only could they launch on a great launchpad, but then you get a referral bonus as well. So you get to earn some money by referring them as well. And keep an eye out for stealth launches. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm so excited for this to work. Oh, Rainlands is here. I'll just see. Oh no, okay, he's not. Okay. Do you want me to double check which project it was whitelist for?
Oh, I'm absolutely certain it was Homie Wars. Actually, I had to clear my mind from the one that I was regretting missing that sold out in like 5 seconds. So,
No.
speaking of that, though, it sold out in 5 seconds. It didn't sell out in a microsecond. And isn't that one of the features that GemPad has? Is that you have a gas feature that makes it to where people can't snipe the pre-sale by using excessive amounts of gas, that everybody has a much fairer and across the board equal chance at getting in?
I knew I'd forget stuff. So basically what it is we wanted to make GemPad as fair as possible. So like you said yourself, you cannot snipe a GemPad presale. Now, there are some people that are slipping through, but there is a random cap on the gas. A random cap that we do not decide, and we do not know what it is. So we advise to use 5 for the gas, the default gas, simply because you will always get in with that. Like, well, of course, obviously, if you're not fast enough, you won't get in, but you won't get your transaction reverted. You can't send to the presale address, so this means you have to interact with the UI. Now, this has been somewhere between 90 and 97% foolproof, which means about 3 to 10% of people using scripts or bots are getting through. So with the update, we are hoping that will go to 100%. So we're making it even harder to snipe. So not only will you not be able to send to a presale address, and with the gas, there will be another anti-snipe method. And so this will hopefully get that up to 100%, where the only way to do it is through the UI. And that will be as fair as possible. Now, I can't say how we're doing it because, well, I'm not going to say. But just rest assured that it's coming in an update.
Awesome. And I find that most useful in the occasions whenever there isn't a whitelist, because then somebody can truly, with enough money, if they wanted to, buy the whole presale. Whereas with the whitelist, I mean, alone is probably, in my opinion, the absolute best anti-bot measure, because even if they do use a bot just to get in a couple of seconds, they're just filling up one spot and not, loads of them.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But we will hopefully now with the update be able to stop all bots. Now, it's crypto. Someone will probably find a way around it eventually, but hopefully it lasts for a long time. And then once they beat us, we can then turn around and beat them. It's a proper game of cat and mouse.
Yeah, for sure. That being said, do you want to kick off the prize draw, whitelist draw at this time?
Yeah, how do I kick it off?
Okay, so I'm not sure how your chat room is set up, but if your chat room is set up to where we can send people in there and say USA Crypto sent me, just to show you our active respondents, then we could do that as long as they're not going to get booted out or put in Telegram jail for it. Otherwise, we could do both of our cash drawings here locally in the room and just randomly select all the names that we've collected from the VC participants.
Yeah, do it that way because our mods might actually kick them if they start spamming.
All right, Mike, are you ready to set up the wheel then and do the 2 cash prize drawings? And then we could do one whitelist today and then let the community vote because this diamond tier launch is still over a week out, whether or not it might be something they want. And if not, we could just give the extra whitelist to individuals that are interested at a later drawing.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, AK Homestead is taking care of the giveaway tonight. Thank you, AK. But go ahead.
You're welcome. So how many whitelist spots do we have to give out total, Matt?
So right now, I'd say we'll start with 1, and then depending on community interest, we might have 1 or maybe 2 more. We'll see.
All right, so gonna go ahead. I have put all the names into here. I'm gonna shuffle it a few times. And then this first spin for the whitelist winner for Homie Wars. Bob. Bob is the winner for that one.
Congratulations, Bob.
Bobby! Way to go, baby!
Is that really our Bobby or somebody else?
Shh! Don't say nothing, Seattle. Stop it.
That is a different Bob. I'm giggling because my brother is the only one I've ever seen spell a name that way. So I was like, oh, Bob.
It's not a Bob. Yeah.
You have to say it. All right, so then the next one's going to be the next 2. I went ahead and reset everything. Is going to be for the $25 each award.
Let's go.
Whoop, whoop.
Wood.
All right, Geek is our first winner. Geek 2.0.
I like it. Congrats.
And
that looks very geeky.
Oh, almost Seattle. Shake and bake.
Oh, congratulations, Shake.
Yeah. Actually, give it to somebody else.
If Shake and bake gets it.
Yeah, but make sure. Yeah, give that one to somebody else. That's awesome.
All right, let's do it one more time for that
I won twice. Wink, wink. Just kidding.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going? All right, the second winner is Dr. Mikey. So I will go ahead and get that sent over to Mike, and he'll get that posted.
Awesome. Congratulations, Dr. Mikey. You're here, I swear, every single AMA. I appreciate your commitment.
Hey, Roger. I like your little advertisement there. There's no shame in the game.
All right, so let me get this recording here stopped.